CQ, calling all radio amateurs and listeners. This is Golf Bravo 2 Romeo Sierra, the news broadcasting service of the Radio Society of Great Britain. This broadcast comes to you from amateur radio station Golf 4 Juliet Bravo Delta in Mappishall, Bedfordshire. Welcome and thanks for joining us. It's Sunday the 22nd of December and here's the GB2RS news broadcast, prepared for you by the RSGB for all radio amateurs and listeners. You can also find this news bulletin on our website at rsgb.org, along with links to groups and organisations that we may mention in this broadcast. This week's headlines: we're looking for a new lecture coordinator. YOTA month draws to a close but is still busy on the air. And the first RSGB Tonight at 8 webinar of 2025 focuses on the GB2RS news bulletins. We'll have more on those items in a moment, but first we participate in just over 60 lectures each year with a mixture of in-person, hybrid and remote formats. 50 of these are at the RSGB convention and 11 are delivered through the live-streamed Tonight at 8 webinar programme of events. Now, our aim is to cover a wide mix of amateur radio related subjects across all levels of amateur radio experience and knowledge. And the lectures are watched and admired by RSGB members and non-members across the world, and our lecture coordinator is part of the Tonight at 8 and convention teams. Our recent lecture coordinator, Keith Hotchkiss, Golf 0 Foxtrot Echo Alpha, has stepped down to focus on professional commitments, so we're looking for someone new for this volunteer role. The right person will be proactive and collaborative, bringing ideas for presentations that educate and inspire radio amateurs to try something new, learn something about interesting topics, and expand their knowledge of amateur radio. They'll lead the invitation and scheduling process for Tonight at 8 webinars and will contribute to the decisions about convention presentations. They'll also be the main contact with convention presenters, inviting them to speak, updating the speaker project plan and helping to create a balanced programme. Reporting to the convention chair, the lecture coordinator would be a member of the RSGB convention team, but would not be required to take responsibility for organising and managing other aspects of the event. And if you're interested in the role, or if you'd like to find out more, please contact the RSGB General Manager, that's Steve Thomas, Mike 1 Alpha Charlie Bravo, and his email address is gm.dept@rsgb.org.uk. That's golfmike.delta echo papa tango @rsgb.org.uk. Youngsters on the Air month is fast drawing to a close, and it has been filled with some brilliant activity from young people using the special call sign Golf Bravo 24 YOTA. And we thank everyone who's been involved, from supervising young amateurs to making contact with them on the air. And before the year ends, we still have some activity using GB24 YOTA, so please do continue to listen out. Tomorrow, Monday the 23rd of December, the Hilderstone Radio Society will be back on the air hosting the call sign for a final time this month. On Sunday the 29th of December, Bush Valley Amateur Radio Club in Northern Ireland will operate GB24 YOTA, followed by Marlborough Scouts on Monday the 30th of December. Now, if you've been involved with Youngsters on the Air month, and if you'd like your activity to be featured in a special Radcom edition, then email your photos and a short report to comms@rsgb.org.uk as soon as you can. Now, the first RSGB Tonight at 8 webinar of 2025 will be live on Monday the 6th of January, and the presentation is all about the RSGB's GB2RS news service, which will celebrate its 70th anniversary next year. A team of people will contribute to the live presentation to give you a behind-the-scenes insight into how the script is compiled, as well as a newsreader's perspective of the weekly broadcast. And they'll share details of the plans being put in place for the anniversary and explain how you can get involved. The team will also consider GB2RS in the modern media environment and how new technologies in amateur radio are being embraced. And to find out more about this fascinating discussion and the presenters, go to rsgb.org/webinars. And you can watch the presentation live on our YouTube channel or the special BATC channel, and you can ask questions via the live chat. We'll be releasing 4 new presentations from our 2024 convention over the festive season. If you'd like to be the first to hear about new releases as soon as they're available, go to youtube.com/the-RSGB and subscribe to receive notifications. Our YouTube channel has hundreds of other videos and webinars for you to enjoy, as well as numerous playlists on amateur radio construction, useful practical skills, technical topics and much more. So let us know that you enjoy the content by pressing the like button when you watch a video. And a reminder now that our headquarters will be closed for Christmas and the New Year from 2 p.m. on Tuesday the 24th of December until 8:30 a.m. on Thursday the 2nd of January. The RSGB National Radio Centre, or NRC, will also be closed on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day and New Year's Day. And on New Year's Eve, the NRC will close at 2 p.m. and it will also be closed for essential maintenance works on Thursday the 2nd of January. And outside of these times, volunteers look forward to welcoming you as usual. Sweden's Alexandersson alternator station, SAQ, has scheduled a transmission to send out a traditional Christmas message to the world. The century-old 200 kilowatt transmitter will start up and begin tuning at 0730 UTC on Tuesday the 24th of December using Morse code on 17.2 kilohertz. Transmission of the Christmas message is at 0800 UTC, and you can catch the event live from 7:25 UTC on the Alexandersson site's YouTube channel. And you can see more details about the event, including test transmissions and QSL reports, at their website, which is Alexander, that's Alpha Lima Echo X-ray Alpha November Delta Echo Romeo .N for November .Sierra Echo. Now, there won't be a GB2RS broadcast on Sunday the 29th of December 2024, but many newsreaders will hold informal nets on their usual broadcasting slots. But for the forthcoming news, please do send details of all your events and news to radcom@rsgb.org.uk. The deadline for submissions is 10 a.m. on the Thursdays before the next Sunday broadcast. And now we have details of rallies and events. The Sparkford Radio Rally is on Sunday the 29th of December, and that's at the Davis Hall in Howell Hill, West Camel, near Yeovil. Doors open to traders from 7:30 a.m. and to visitors from 9:30 a.m. Admission is £2, and refreshments and free parking will be available on site. For more information, contact Luke on 07870 168 197, or you can email Mike3 Victor Hotel Victor at hotmail.co.uk. And looking ahead to events in the new year, the Lincoln Shortwave Club Winter Radio Rally will take place on the 26th of January at the Festival Hall, Caister Road in Market Raisin. Doors will open at 10 a.m. and admission is £3. Hot refreshments and plenty of free car parking will be available on site. The cost for a table is £10, and to book please contact Steve Burke, Mike 5 Zulu Zulu Zulu. Steve's number is 077 776 99069, or you can email him on Mike5 Zulu 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 at outlook.com. And now we have the special event news. To celebrate the 70th anniversary of the GB2RS news service, special call sign Golf Bravo 70 Romeo Sierra will be on the air from the 1st of January. Listen out for operators on all modes and all bands, and you can QSL via the Bureau, EQSL or Logbook of the World. And for more information, please visit qrz.com and look up the call sign Golf Bravo 70 Romeo Sierra. The Denby Dale Amateur Radio Society will celebrate the new year with a series of special event call signs, all ending in Hotel November Yankee, standing for Happy New Year. Members will be active on all HF and VHF bands using SSB, Morse code, FM and data modes. And you can find full details of active call signs on the Golf Bravo Zero Hotel November Yankee page at qrz.com. A number of special event stations will be active between the 1st and 3rd of January, and that will be to celebrate KW Electronics, a former UK manufacturer of amateur radio equipment. The active call signs will include Golf Bravo 4 Kilo Whiskey, Golf Bravo 8 Kilo Whiskey, Golf Bravo 0 Kilo Whiskey, Golf Bravo 1 Kilo Whiskey, Golf Bravo 5 Kilo Whiskey, Golf Bravo 2 Kilo Whiskey and Golf Bravo 6 Kilo Whiskey. All details are available on qrz.com. If you just look up Golf Bravo 1 Kilo Whiskey, you'll find details of all stations. Special call sign Golf Bravo 0 India Romeo November will be active in January, and that's to celebrate the anniversary of the International Radio Network. The International Radio Network is active on various platforms, and its mission is to promote amateur radio to those interested in radio communications. And to find out more, you can visit their website, which is indiaromeonovember.radio. Terry, Golf Mike 3 Whiskey Uniform X-Ray, will use special call sign Golf Bravo 200 Lima Bravo from the 4th of January until the 31st of January. The LB in the call sign stands for Louis Braille. The station celebrates the bicentenary of the invention of the Braille code. The 4th of January is Louis Braille's birthday, and activity will mainly be on Morse code. You can QSL via Mike 0 Oscar X-Ray Oscar, and you can also find more details on qrz.com. Go to qrz.com and look up call sign Golf Bravo 200 Lima Bravo. And now the DX news. Spanish DXpedition Tango Oscar 0 Juliet is active from French Guiana until the 31st of December. You can find them on the 80 to 10 meter bands using Morse code, SSB and mainly FT8. You can QSL via Club Logs OQRS, Logbook of the World or EQSL. The Juliet 75 Kilo team is active in Dominica from the 26th of December 2024 until the 4th of January 25. The IOTA reference is November Alpha 101, and they'll operate on the 160 to 6 meter bands using SSB, Morse code and FT8. You can QSL via Logbook of the World or direct to India Victor 3 Juliet Victor Juliet. Brian, Golf Whiskey 4 Delta Victor Bravo, will operate from St. Kitts as Victor 4/Golf 4 Delta Victor Bravo. He'll be active from the 31st of December to the 6th of January using many modes on the 160 to 6 meter bands. You can QSL directly to Brian, and you can find more information on qrz.com. Just look up the call sign Golf Whiskey 4 Delta Victor Bravo. Members of the Rebel DX group will operate as 5 November 9 Delta Tango Golf from Abuja in Nigeria during January 2025. They'll be active on the 160 to 6 meter bands using Morse code, FT8 and possibly SSB. And you can QSL via Club Logs OQRS. And now we have the contest news. The UK 6 metre group's winter marathon started at 0000 UTC on Sunday the 1st of December, and it ends at 23:59 UTC on Friday the 31st of January. Using all modes on the 6 metre band, the exchange is signal report and locator. On Thursday the 26th of December, the DARC Christmas contest will run from 0830 UTC to 10:59 UTC. Using Morse code and SSB on the 80 to 40 meter bands, or 80 and 40 meter bands, the exchange is signal report and serial number, and German stations will also send their DOK number. On Friday the 27th of December, the RSGB 50 MHz Christmas contest will run from 1500 to 1700 UTC using all modes on the 6 metre band. The exchange is signal report, serial number and locator. On Saturday the 28th of December, the RSGB's 70 MHz Christmas contest runs from 1500 to 1700 UTC using all modes on the 4 metre band. The exchange is signal report, serial number and locator. The Stu Perry Top Band Challenge starts at 1500 UTC on Saturday the 28th of December and ends at 1500 UTC on Sunday the 29th of December using Morse code on the 160 metre band. The exchange is your 4-character locator. On Sunday the 29th of December, it's the RSGB's 144 MHz Christmas contest, which runs from 1500 to 1700 UTC using all modes on the 2 metre band, and the exchange is signal report, serial number and locator. Then on Monday the 30th, it's the RSGB's 432 MHz Christmas contest, which runs from 1500 to 1700 UTC using all modes on the 70 centimetre band. And again, the exchange is signal report, serial number and locator. Then on Wednesday the 1st of January, it's the RSGB's 144 MHz FT8 activity 4-hour contest, and that runs from 1700 to 2100 UTC. Using FT8 on the 2 metre band, the exchange is report and 4-character locator. And also on Wednesday the 1st, it's the RSGB's 144 MHz FT8 activity 2-hour contest. That starts at 1900 and runs until 2100 UTC. Using FT8 on the 2 metre band, exchange is report and 4-character locator. And if you enter the 4-hour contest, you may also enter the 2-hour contest. On Wednesday the 1st of January, the UK and Ireland Contest Club's 80 metre contest will run from 2000 to 2100 UTC using SSB on the 80 metre band. The exchange is your 6-character locator. The IRRL RTTY Roundup contest starts at 1800 UTC on Saturday the 4th of January and ends at 23:59 UTC on Sunday the 5th of January. Using data modes on the 80 to 10 metre bands where contests are allowed, the exchange is signal report and serial number. And by the way, American stations will send their state and Canadian stations will send their province. The European Morse code 160 metre party runs from 2000 UTC to 2300 UTC on Saturday the 4th of January and from 0400 UTC to 0700 UTC on Sunday the 5th of January. Using Morse code on the 160 metre band, the exchange for club members is signal report, name, club and membership number, and for non-members the exchange is report and name. On Saturday the 4th of January 2025, it's the RSGB's 80 and 4 metre Morse code affiliated societies contest, and that runs from 1300 to 1700 UTC. Using Morse code on the 80 metre bands, the exchange is signal report and serial number. Well, now we have the radio propagation report. This was compiled by G0KYA, G3YLA and G4BAO on Thursday the 19th. Well, the last week was a little more disturbed than usual, and we had a KP index that rose to 5.33. An enhanced solar wind stream added to the active geomagnetic conditions, and an interplanetary shock wave that swept past the Earth at 0519 UTC on the 17th of December caused minor G1 geomagnetic storming. A far-sided halo coronal mass ejection event occurred later on the 17th of December at 1600 UTC, although this was not directed towards Earth. And this shows that the Sun is still very active, and we shouldn't be surprised if we see more solar flares and coronal mass ejections. The solar flux index stayed between 160 and 180, and we should keep an eye on active region 3927, which is currently turning to face the Earth and has already produced some C-class solar flares. Next week, NOAA predicts that the solar flux index may rise slightly to be in the 180s, and the largest KP index forecast is 2, and that probably means that NOAA is unsure about what will actually happen. We're pleased to report that the Oscar Foxtrot 9 X-ray expedition is again on the air on the land of Santa Claus in Lapland, and up to 16 operators will operate Santa radio on the 160 to 6 meter bands using CW, SSB, RTTY, FT4 and FT8, and they've already been heard on the 30 and 20 meter bands using Morse code, and on the 12 and 17 meter bands using RTTY. So there's plenty of scope to work them. And according to prediction program PROPI, paths to Lapland should be open on 14 MHz from 0800 to 1800 UTC, and on 28 MHz the best time will be from 0930 to 1500 UTC. The 80 and 40 meter bands should be mainly open during the hours of darkness. And as always, we recommend that you use solarham.com and propquest.co.uk, where you can get real-time updates on the solar and ionospheric conditions. Next we move to the VHF and up propagation news, and this was compiled by G3YLA and G4BAO. Well, last week ended in a colder, unsettled period of weather with strong northwesterly winds and spells of rain or showers. The air is sufficiently cold that some snow is possible over northern hills, and this may be good news for rain or snow scatter, especially off fast-moving showers down the coastal fringes of the UK. The nearest high starts near the Azores and slowly migrates east to France, and by Christmas it should be in Central Europe. And this will bring high pressure and possible tropo into Santa's list for Christmas Eve onwards. Look for patches of misty low cloud or fog for the best conditions. As usual, check for other modes. Meteor scatter and aurora are both worth a look, as from now to about mid-January is a prime time for out-of-season sporadic E. One of the helpful hints for winter sporadic E is that quite often the jet streams are significantly stronger than in the more traditional summer sporadic E season. Jet streams are a good source of turbulence that can propagate up to the E region, making sporadic E propagation possible. You can see jet stream data on upper air charts, which can be a good geographical guide to sporadic E prospects in the summer, and you should also check them for winter events. Currently, they tell us that the first half of the coming week up to Christmas Day has a northerly jet stream over Central Europe and, more importantly, crossing the Alps. So a second mode goes on to Santa's list. Check the VHF cluster sporadic E graphs at propquest.co.uk for early signs of activity, particularly for paths to the southeast into Italy and to the Balkans. The moon started this weekend with positive declination, but goes negative later today, the 22nd that is. Path losses are at their highest due to apogee on Christmas Eve. 144 MHz sky noise is high until Wednesday, including near eclipse conditions all day on Monday. And that's it for this year. So how about making a New Year's resolution and try a new mode? Maybe use SSB or CW on VHF now and again, and put out lots of CQs in 2025. And that's all from the propagation team this week. This is Golf Bravo 2 Romeo Sierra, the news broadcasting service of the Radio Society of Great Britain, brought to you by amateur radio station Golf 4 Juliet Bravo Delta in Bedfordshire. Next we have the local news, and details of all RSGB affiliated clubs and societies are available on the RSGB website, and that includes email addresses and website links where we have them. We start off with news for the Midlands. Meetings of the Bolsover Amateur Radio Society take place on the 1st and 3rd Tuesday of the month at the Bainbridge Hall, which is in Bolsover, and the postcode is Sierra 446 Papa X-ray, and meetings start at 8 p.m. You can find more information and reminders for meetings on the Society's Facebook page, which is at Bolsover ARS. The Bromsgrove and District Amateur Radio Club meets every Friday from 8 p.m, and they also have a regular coffee morning on Wednesdays in the Club Shack from 10:30 a.m. Then on Monday and Wednesday evenings they have nets on 145.375 MHz from 7:30 p.m. The Burton Amateur Radio Club has slow Morse code training transmissions on 14.055 MHz on Mondays at 11 a.m. And they also have a club night every Wednesday at the Barley Mow, and that starts at 7:30 p.m. They also hold an informal open net on Thursday evenings from 8 p.m. and on Sundays from 10 a.m. around 145.575 MHz FM. Central Radio Amateur Circle has a net on 145.575 MHz from 7:30 p.m. on Tuesdays and from 12 p.m. on Saturdays, and the group will have a Google meeting at 7 p.m. on Wednesday. You can visit their website, which is Charlie Romeo Alpha Charlie Romeo Alpha Delta India Oscar.com for more information. Cheltenham Amateur Radio Association has daily nets on 145.400 MHz at 8 p.m. and their Tuesday net is through Golf Bravo 3 Golf Hotel or Golf Bravo 3 Romeo Charlie from 8 p.m. Coventry Amateur Radio Society hold a club night on Tuesdays at St Bart's. The postcode is Charlie Victor 3 to Delta Tango, and that starts at 8 p.m. Then on Fridays they have an open FM net on 145.375 MHz from 8 p.m. and on Sundays they have a Zoom meeting from 11 a.m. The Dudley and District Amateur Radio Society meet every Tuesday from 6 to 10 p.m. at the Wrighton Mill. That's on 59 Vale Street, Upper Gornal in Dudley, and the postcode is Delta Yankee 3 X-Ray Foxtrot. Gloucester Amateur Radio and Electronic Society holds an informal net every day on 145.475 MHz FM at 3:30 p.m. On Wednesday they have a net from 7:30 p.m. on 145.475 MHz, and on Thursday there's another net from 7:30 p.m. on 145.475, moving to 80 meters SSB later on. Then on Friday the net moves to 432.220 MHz SSB from 7:30 p.m. The Kettering and District Amateur Radio Society has a breakfast meeting from 10 a.m. on Sundays, and on Tuesday they have a club meeting from 7 p.m. and their net takes place on Thursdays on 145.300 MHz from 7 p.m. On Monday, Leicester Radio Society have a meeting at its clubhouse and via Zoom from 7:30 p.m. and the Zoom link can be found on the club's website, which is Golf 3 Lima Romeo Sierra.org.uk, and there'll also be a club meeting from 10 a.m. on Thursday. Also on Thursday, the Lincoln Shortwave Club has a net through Golf Bravo 3 Lima Sierra or on 145.350 MHz if the repeater is busy. On Saturday, members are meeting at the BSA Village Hall from 9 a.m. On Wednesday, Malvern Hills Radio Amateurs Club has a net on 145.350 MHz FM from 8 p.m. On Friday, Nunsfield House Amateur Radio Group will have a club meeting. The Rugby Amateur Transmitting Society has weekday nets at 8:30 a.m. on 144.275 MHz upper sideband. They also have training and practice Morse code nets on Monday and Thursday at 4:30 p.m. on 144.275 MHz, starting off with upper sideband and then moving to CW. There's a meeting at the Borton Lee 12th Rugby Scouts Hut from 8 p.m. on Tuesday and on Saturday from 2 p.m. Then on Friday the Society has a net on 1913 kHz from 8 p.m. On Thursday, the Solihull Amateur Radio Society will have their net on 145.450 MHz from 8 p.m. On Sundays, South Birmingham Radio Society has activities in the attic with Bob and others, and you can find more information on the Society's website. On Tuesday, South Derbyshire and Ashby Wolds Amateur Radio Group has a net on 144.225 MHz SSB, and that's from 7 p.m. And on Friday there's a net from 70.425 MHz from 7 p.m. On Monday, the Stourbridge and District Amateur Radio Society will meet at the Norton Community Centre from 8 p.m. On Monday, Sutton Coldfield Amateur Radio Society will meet at the Pavilion on 9 Openfield Croft in Water Orton, and that's from 8 p.m. Wolverhampton Amateur Radio Society meet every Wednesday from 7:30 p.m. at the Wednesfield and Wood End British Legion. On Sundays they have a net around 145.350 MHz from 8 p.m. and for more information you can visit wolverhamptonars.co.uk or at Wolves ARS on social media. The Withell Radio Club will take part in a Christmas contest from the 26th to the 31st of December. Now we have news for the South East and East Anglia. Aylesbury Vale Radio Society meet on the third Wednesday of each month, and for more information visit their website, which is alphavictorromeosierra.org.uk. Banbury Amateur Radio Society has a club night on Wednesday from 7 p.m. and you can find more on the club on their website, which is Banbury ARES, that's all one word, banburyares.co.uk. On Sundays, Bracknell Amateur Radio Club has a net through Golf Bravo 3 Bravo November from 5 p.m. and through Golf Bravo 3 Alpha Lima from 5:30 p.m. Then on Wednesday, the club has a net on 145.375 MHz from 8 p.m. On Saturday the 28th, the Braintree and District Amateur Radio Society will meet in its clubhouse and via Zoom from 8 p.m. The Breedstream Amateur Radio Society meet on the first and third Saturday of each month, and for more information you can visit their website, which is Bravo Sierra Alpha Romeo Sierra.co.uk. The Bredhurst Receiving and Transmitting Society meet in its shack every Wednesday from 7 p.m. and they have a net through Golf Bravo 3 Delta Alpha on Thursdays. On Wednesday, Bromley and District Amateur Radio Society has a net starting on 145.500 MHz from 9 p.m. and you can find more information on their website, which is Bravo Delta Alpha Romeo Sierra.wordpress.com. Burnham Beeches Radio Club meet on the first and third Friday of the month from 8 p.m. and you can find more information on the club's website. Unfortunately, I don't have that listed in the text here. Bury St Edmunds Radio Society meet at the Ruffham Tower Museum on the third Wednesday of each month. That's a small but very active club, and there are club nets every day of the week except Sunday. You can find details on the club's website, and the club's general chat frequencies are 144.7375 MHz FM and 433.400 MHz FM, and the website is Bravo Sierra Echo Alpha Romeo Sierra.co.uk. On Sundays, Chelmsford Amateur Radio Society has a Morse code net on 144.060 MHz from 8 p.m. and on Monday they have a Morse code net on 3542 kHz from 7:30 p.m, followed at 8:15 p.m. by Golf Bravo 2 Charlie Whiskey slow Morse transmissions on 3555 kHz. Then on Tuesday they have an open net on 3758 kHz from 8 p.m. and on Thursday there'll be Morse code classes via Skype, and that's from 7 p.m. On Tuesday, Chelsea Pensioners Radio Club have a net on 145.375 MHz from 2 p.m. On Tuesday, Colchester Radio Amateurs Club has an open net on 433.400 MHz from 7 p.m. and on 1.920 MHz lower sideband from 8 p.m. Then on Wednesday they have an open net on 145.350 MHz from 7 p.m. and on Thursday the net is on 3.685 MHz from 7 p.m. On Friday they have an open DX net on 14.125 MHz with help on 145.350 MHz from 2:30 p.m. On Sundays, Coulsdon Amateur Transmitting Society has a net around 70.425 MHz from 9 p.m. and on Thursday they have nets on 145.400 MHz from 11 a.m. and on 3.700 MHz from 5 p.m. The Crawley Amateur Radio Club meet from 11 a.m. on Sundays and 2 p.m. on Fridays, and the club meet at Hut 18. That's on Tilgate Drive in Crawley, and the postcode is Romeo Hotel 105 Hotel Whiskey. Cray Valley Radio Society is to be found at the Scout headquarters, which are just behind 61 to 71 Southend Crescent in Eltham, London, and the postcode is Sierra Echo 9 to Sierra Delta. Their 2 metre and 4 metre FM nets are held on 145.350 MHz on Sundays and at 10 a.m. and on 70.425 MHz on Fridays at 8 p.m. Then on Wednesday there'll be a Christmas Day net on 3.72 MHz from 10 a.m. and on 145.350 MHz from 11 a.m. On Wednesdays, the Crystal Palace Radio and Electronics Club have their net on 145.525 MHz from 8 p.m. and on Saturdays they meet on 51.550 MHz FM from 8 p.m. On Sundays, the Darenth Valley Radio Society has a net on 145.475 MHz at 8 a.m. The Dorking and District Radio Society has a net each day from Monday to Saturday on 144.775 MHz FM at 10 a.m. Essex Ham have their net on Monday through Golf Bravo 3 Delta Alpha from 8 p.m. with chat room and audio feed at essexham.net. On Sundays, Felixstowe and District Amateur Radio Society have their net on 145.400 MHz from 10 a.m. and on Wednesday they have a net through Golf Bravo 3 India Hotel from 7:30 p.m. On Tuesday, members of the Harlow and District Amateur Radio Society meet from 10 a.m. and on Wednesday their net is on 145.425 MHz from 7:30 p.m. On Thursday they have a digital net on the XLX 215 reflector, and on Friday they meet from 8 p.m. and visitors are welcome to attend. Hastings Electronics and Radio Club hold a daily net on the GB2RS repeater from 10 a.m. They have a Morse code net on Monday nights at 8 p.m. on 144.575 MHz, and those Morse nets are aimed at anyone new to Morse code or who wish to brush up on their Morse skills, and non-members are welcome to take part. The net is then followed by general conversation. Then on Wednesdays at around 1 p.m. members meet up at various locations in the area for portable radio operating on the air, both HF and VHF, and non-members are welcome to take part. The details do vary each week, so it's a good idea to visit the website on Wednesday morning to view up-to-date information about where and when they'll be meeting next. The web address is hastings-electronics-radio-club.com. On Tuesday, the Horndean and District Amateur Radio Club have a Morse code net at 9 a.m. around 1950 kHz, moving to SSB at 9:30. There's another net on Wednesday, which is around 1950 kHz, using SSB from 7:30 p.m. On Sunday, the Isle of Wight Radio Society has their net through GB7PO and GB7MT from 8 p.m. and they also have a net from Monday to Friday through GB3IW from 6:15 a.m. On Tuesday, they take part in the Bramble net through GB3IW from 7:30 p.m. and on Thursday there's another net through GB3IW followed by a Zoom meeting from 8 p.m. Then on Fridays, members meet at the Haylands Farm in Ryde, and at those meetings there are foundation and intermediate licence training sessions available. The Loughton and Epping Forest Amateur Radio Society has a net on Wednesday from 8 p.m. on Brandmeister DMR Talk Group 23511. On Thursday they have a net from 8 p.m. on 144.725 MHz, and on Friday there'll be an online discussion via Zoom from 8 p.m. Their next meeting will take place on the 10th of January at All Saints House. Lowestoft District and Pye Amateur Radio Club have their net on Sundays on 433.575 MHz at 7 p.m. And on Tuesday they have another net this time on 145.475 MHz at 7 p.m. and they meet on Thursday evenings from 7:30 p.m. And the final net of the week is on Friday at 7 p.m. and that's on 51.490 MHz. The Maidenhead and District Amateur Radio Club meet at the Friends Meeting House on 14 West Street in Maidenhead, and the postcode is Sierra Lima 6 Romeo Lima. You can find more information on their website, which is Mike Alpha Delta Alpha Romeo Charlie.org. The Martello Tower Group has a net night every Monday evening from 8 p.m. through Golf Bravo 3 Charlie Lima, and on Sundays the group has a net through Golf Bravo 3 Charlie Echo from 8 p.m. The Medway Amateur Receiving and Transmitting Society net takes place each weekday from 9:30 a.m. on 144.650 MHz. On Friday, Milton Keynes Amateur Radio Society will meet via Zoom for coffee and chat from 10:30 a.m. The Norfolk Amateur Radio Club has a net through Golf Bravo 3 November Bravo every Monday from 7:30 p.m, followed by a Morse code net on 3.543 MHz from 8:30 p.m. The Shefford and District Radio Society's regular nets are on Mondays on 1.985 MHz lower sideband at 7 p.m. and on Wednesdays through GB3PI from 8 p.m. The club is currently closed for its winter recess, but will be opening in the new year, and you can find more details about the club's forthcoming events on their website, which is Sierra Alpha Delta Alpha Romeo Sierra.co.uk. On Wednesday, Southdown Amateur Radio Society will have a cafe meeting at 12:15 p.m. and this will be followed by a net through GB3ZX at 2 p.m. Stevenage and District Amateur Radio Society is now officially on its winter break, and the club would like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Members look forward to meeting up again in the new year on Tuesday the 7th of January, and you can find more information on their website at Sierra Alpha Delta Alpha Romeo Sierra.com. On Sundays, the Surrey Radio Contact Club has their net on 1.905 MHz at 9:30 a.m. and on Monday there'll be a net on 3.710 MHz lower sideband from 9 a.m. On Tuesday the net's on 51.550 MHz at 8 p.m. and on Wednesday it's on 28.078 MHz JS8 from 10 a.m. Then on Thursday they meet on 70.300 MHz at 8 p.m. and on Friday the get-together is on D-Star, that's on 144.6125 MHz at 7:30 p.m. And finally there's a 7:30 p.m. net on an 8 p.m. net on FM on 145.350 MHz. The West Kent Amateur Radio Society has regular weekly nets. You can find details of these and other club information on their website, which is Whiskey Kilo Alpha Romeo Sierra.org.uk. On Friday, the Witten Amateur Radio Group will have a social meeting, and you can find more information on their website, which is Whiskey Alpha Romeo Golf.dreamhosters.com. Well, that's all for this week's GB2RS News broadcast, which was brought to you by Graham Golf 4 Juliet Bravo Delta in Meppershall, Bedfordshire. The news was compiled by the Radio Society of Great Britain, who represent amateur radio and radio amateurs in the UK and abroad. If you have a news item to share, then please email it to us as far in advance as possible so we can include it for you free of charge in the GB2RS News broadcast, Radcom magazine and the RSGB website. Send it to the editorial team, whose email address is radcom@rsgb.org.uk. And if your news items are time sensitive, then please be sure to send them to us by 10 a.m. on the Thursday before the next broadcast. The RSGB will retain copyright over all material transmitted, and you can find information about amateur radio on our website at rsgb.org.uk. And you can also download the full schedule of GB2RS broadcasts from rsgb.org/GB2RS schedule. Well, we wish you 7-3 from the GB2RS news team. We hope you have a lovely Sunday and a great week ahead, and all the very best for Christmas and the New Year. Hope you have a lovely time. Now, this is Graham Golf 4, Juliet Bravo Delta in Mapleshall, Bedfordshire, now listening for any calls.